Hey guys, it's your bro CDP. I'm here at Crossbody Pro Wrestling tonight at 132 North Iogol Street in Cambridge.
Argyle.
Argyle Street. I
You
got
gotta get
that.
that right.
Anyways, I have Ben Ortmanns, the owner of Crossbody Pro Wrestling here in Cambridge with me. And I was going to say, Ben, can you just tell my audience a little bit about yourself and how you started up Crossbody Pro Wrestling here in the Cambridge Kitchener area?
Yeah, sure. So, obviously, I started wrestling in 2001 and started training at Hamilton. And as soon as I started getting, going and whatever, I just hit the road just like everybody else does as an independent wrestler. And then, thankfully, after just a lot of years of paying dues and busting my butt. The funny thing is it wasn't until I got out of the wrestling business for a little bit that the opportunity to run a wrestling school actually came about. So I had taken a little bit of time off just for personal reasons, and then I started to get into the mixed martial arts world. And I was actually helping run the Adrenaline Training Center in London, Ontario, which is owned by UFC fighters like Mark Hominick and Sam Stout and Chris Hordecki and Chris Clements, and just an array of like some of the best fighters this country has ever produced. And it was running the gym for them and being training partners with my coach, Chris Clements, where the one day I just kind of realized as we were sparring and I was helping him get ready for one of his fights that I missed wrestling. He was basically beating the shit out of me. And then the first time in the entire training camp that he was beating the shit out of me, I remember I reversed one thing on him, and it was sort of like almost a pro wrestling reversal. And when I got it on him, I just remember thinking to myself, I miss wrestling. And then as soon as I thought that, he got back up on me and just continued to kick the shit out of me. But it was that moment where I kind of had that, I got to get back into this. And then next thing I know, we ended up getting tickets for a Monday Night Raw, and it was just from a friend of mine who worked at the Air Canada Center, and there was myself, Chris Hordecki, Jesse Gross, who's also an MMA fighter and was my roommate at the time, my buddy Josh, and my other buddy Josh Alexander. So we all went down together, and it was a Raw where Daniel Bryan had come out, and he was like really, really popular at the time, and just absorbing that energy was really it, it it gave me a feeling that I hadn't felt in a long time. And I just remember standing up while the crowd was going nuts, and I just remember like absorbing all the energy. And I'll never forget, Josh Alexander was like to my right, and he just stood up and he just put his arm around me and he just kind of looked at me and he's like, "Oh, you're back, aren't you?" And I just kind of gave him the like, "Huh?" And he's like, "I'll talk to Julian, who's Ethan Page." And then it was literally just like that. And then next thing I know, I had a match booked and then went and wrestled. And then as I wrestled, there was a friend of mine who, through the mixed martial arts world, he owned this company called Fear the Fighter, came and saw me wrestle. And as soon as he finished seeing me wrestle, just came up to me afterwards and said, "Would you like to teach pro wrestling out of my mixed martial arts gym?" And I had no interest in doing that by myself. So, but I obviously had an interest. So I immediately went to Chris Tidwell, Notorious TID, who just so happens to be one of my best friends, and was like, "Hey, do you want to run a wrestling school?" And kind of we talked to each other about what we wanted to do as far as coaching goes and how we would go about it if we ever did do it. And we couldn't have been more on the same page. And here we are. Like, I mean, I think we've been at the school for coming up on 8 years, and I think we're one of the longest running wrestling gyms in the province, which is pretty cool to think about. And we've produced some really great talent out of the time that we've been here. Um, Running the live events and the promotions and all the other shows that we run out of here has been incredible because we've been producing a lot of great talent, not just our own, but outside talent who just don't may not have the opportunities to get these reps elsewhere. They've been coming in here and really working their butt off, allowing us to kind of help them mold who they've become. And you've seen a lot of guys who started out here when we first started running shows are pretty much the guys that are running the industry right now in Ontario. So it's kind of neat to see.
I was going to say, how difficult was the pandemic for that 2 year stretch? And what are some of the other challenges of running your own wrestling school business in Ontario right now?
So the pandemic was obviously very, very difficult because we were trying to do everything by the book. So what a lot of people don't know is that like we were so close so many different times to coming back before it ended up getting shut down because I was personally working like hand in hand with the provincial and So there was the city health and safety people, and then the provincial health and safety people. I was essentially helping them rewrite what we would be doing as far as coming back for live events because they had no clue. And I was like, well, I would do this and this and this, and they were so because I was trying to get their permission to run shows, and then they just needed something. So I was essentially helping them come up with this new way of operating events, and then they just kept getting canceled and canceled and canceled, and then um, finally we eventually found this new building because we lost our other one. It's a pandemic, it happens. And once we found this awesome new facility, then it was time to start running shows again. And then thankfully we were able to have a really good first show back, and we did it for a really good cause for our friend Hacker, Scotty O'Shea, who's making a fantastic recovery, by the way, and I'm so happy to see. But we were able to help his family out by helping pay their bills a little bit. Um, our first few shows back, like we were literally doing whatever we could to help out people that needed it. Like we helped out Hacker the first show back, and then as soon as we got back for our second show, we helped out our friend Danhausen, who's worked for us like numerous times, and then broke his leg. And funny thing is, I think he was getting paid by AEW the whole time, but none of us knew, and we just wanted to support our friend. So we went out of our way to help our friend out and support him the same way that he helped support us. And then after that, I'm trying to remember what. Oh yeah, we helped raise money for the what the hell was it? The animal shelter here in town. Um, yes, the Cambridge Humane Society. Don't know why I blanked on that. I feel really bad because they're like one of that was like a really proud thing to do. But um, we've raised a lot of money for a lot of different people, and like we've even helped raise money for C4 wrestling for the Canadian Cancer Society. Like that's kind of what this is all about. I mean, I love pro wrestling, and I love being able to get out here and create, and I love to perform. More than anything in the world, but at the same time, too, the ultimate cherry on top is to be able to do all these things that we love to do so much, and then at the same time provide for people in need, which I think is just a fantastic, fantastic cherry on top.
Absolutely. And before I let you go, Ben, can you just tell my audience just a little bit about your top stars and when your next show is, and where can people reach you on social media and your website as well? Because I think Crossbody Pro Wrestling is outstanding entertainment, and you guys do a great job, the guys and the girls. And I love the intergender matches as well, Ben.
I thank you. Appreciate that. Um, our top stars are up for debate. Those are really up for you to decide. But we've got some incredible talent here, like Holden Albright, who's one of our students who has literally gone through our system as far as a student goes. He's gone through the ringer and started from the very bottom, worked his way up to not only being the champion, but the longest reigning heavyweight champion we've ever had, the most amount of reigns we've ever had there as a champion. He's put in the most amount of time that we've ever had here. He's gotten to the point where he is now a coach here at our school. Uh, I'm so unbelievably proud of that kid. It is unbelievable. As far as other stars go that we have here that are just willing to that should be going on to be doing better things, Alexia Nicole jumps out immediately. Gabriel Fuerza jumps out at me immediately. Then we've got our homegrown Crystal Moon, who's going to just dominate this business eventually. We've got some excellent kids here on the come up, and like Mikey Jenkins, and we've got Nilo, who just had his first match tonight, who just absolutely killed it. Like we have such an excellent, like Brother Earth is out there just like we have so many great kids out there that are just doing such wonderful work. I'm just so proud of all of them. I'm so proud of their growth. I'm so proud of just the men that they're becoming, the human beings that they're becoming, because it's not just men. We got some great women here too. And believe me, you've got some students that are on the come up right now that are working their asses off behind the scenes that you guys may not see right now. And let's just say our future looks very, very good.
Okay, and where can my audience reach you on social media and follow you and your website? And when's your next event going to be here in Cambridge?
So we run events here pretty frequently. Our next event here is September the 30th. After that, we have October the 7th, which is the following Friday. Stay tuned to the Crossbody Pro Wrestling Facebook page because that's where you'll find all of our events that we announce. I have dates for the upcoming year, so those will be announced very, very shortly for the rest of them. But we do have September the 30th and October the 7th coming up. You can find us Crossbody Pro Wrestling or Crossbody Studios on all the social medias at CBPW Academy. We've still got our old name for all that stuff. You can find us on Instagram, Facebook, you name it, Twitter. And then you can find me personally at Big Ben is Angry across everything. Socials like Instagram, Facebook, Twitch, you name it. It's on my gear. Big Ben is angry. Please give me a follow because I like the follows.
Well, Ben, I was going to say thank you so much for coming on tonight. Thank you so much. Really appreciate it. And everybody, stay tuned. I will have this posted on my YouTube channel later tonight in the morning. And please check out Crossbody Pro Wrestling. And again, thank you to Ben Ortmanns for coming on tonight and talking to CDP about pro wrestling here in the Kitchener, Cambridge, and Guelph area. Check it out sometime. Thank
Thanks
you.
for checking out our show, Chris.
Thank you so much, Big Ben.